Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For today's preview, as England take on Wales this weekend, and a host of some very big names are back in both sides, and what should be a very interesting encounter. Now, Wales, after being absolutely outclassed by Ireland, came back and beat Scotland, what was a very important game for them. And England obviously responding from their Scottish loss pretty well against Italy, and sort of difficult to say back to their best, because it's difficult when you're playing against Italy, who you are expected to beat, and beat they did. But it's a big game for either side, because a loss for either side takes them out of the Six Nations. However, a win even for Wales, for example, suddenly puts you on track and sit there thinking, why can't you go and win this tournament? At the moment, France are the only unbeaten side, and they still have to play both these sides. So, I think that either of these sides will win. If either of these sides win, it all comes down to those sort of France games as opposed to who will take the Six Nations. And I think that we are seeing a Six Nations where I do think that five of them, there's not that much difference. Are we going to see what France can do against England and against Wales? Obviously, I think I backed them to beat Wales, but in theory, if England were to pitch up, they should be the most competitive against France in terms of last year's form and recent form to look at. But I thought Ireland played pretty well against France, and almost mounting a comeback in that first half. Obviously, France was very good, but I do think that we've seen a Six Nations where anyone can beat each other. We had Ireland thrashing Wales in the first week, while Scotland beat England, and then Wales then beat Scotland. And Ireland then put in a decent performance against France. So, I think it's going to be interesting to sort of see how, as the Six Nations develops, what other sort of results you can. But it's been very interesting to watch it so far. But in terms of the teams, before we do that, please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. We'll start with England. Big call at inside centre, as Mani Tuilagi is fit and comes straight back into the side at number 12, as well as a new captain, British and Irish Lions. Courtney Lawes is back in the number 6 jersey. Huge player to have back. Courtney Lawes last year was playing probably the best rugby I've ever seen him play. Whether it was a lock, whether it was at flank, he is such a hard worker and such a big player for England that having him back is absolutely massive. Apart from that, there's not too many big selection calls. Alex Dombrand getting another opportunity at number 8 is a big call as well. The Harlequins' 8th man has been in very good form and sort of almost demanding to play more with the way that he's been playing. But apart from the likes of him, Harry Randall getting an opportunity at number 9 is a very big call as well. So those are sort of the big calls that Eddie Jones has made. So if we go through the lineup, in the front row, we've got Ellis Genge, Luke Cowan-Dickie, and Carl Sinclair. Plenty of experience across there. Ellis Genge is just getting better and better. He's really starting to take the next step in his career and become one of the sort of leading loose heads in the world, and also taking a big responsibility in terms of leadership with there being like 5 different vice captains, but there's a leadership group within the English side. Ellis Genge, Luke Cowan-Dickie, Courtney Lawes, Tom Curry, Henry Slade, they're all sort of part of that leadership group. In the second row, we've got Charlie Ewells and Mario Toje, and then Courtney Lawes is joined by Tom Curry, who's been playing a lot so far, and Alex Dombrand gets another opportunity, probably one of the biggest games of his career thus far. If you look at the back line, Harry Randall, Marcus Smith, these two could be a 9-10 combination for England for a long time. They've got a combined 10 international caps, so it shows you how young they still are in their international career, but very impressive players. And Marcus Smith is very much a hot topic at the moment, because some people say that he is this world-class next prodigy, going to be one of the best 10s ever. Other people saying that need to calm down on the hype and stuff like that. And I think that Marcus Smith is a world-class talent, not yet a world-class player. And I don't think you can become a world-class player or become classified as a world-class player after 7 international matches. I do think he's a world-class talent, but I do think that there needs to be a certain amount of caution before you go and rest the entire nation's hope of producing the next Johnny Wilkinson on a very young player who's still, pretty young in his career. But if you look at the rest of the back line, Jack Noel at wing, as well as Max Malins, and then you've got Freddie Stewart at full back, and the centre combination, Mani Tuilagi, Henry Slade. They're a nice centre combination because I think they complement each other quite well. You've got the raw power of Tuilagi, you've got the boot and the intelligence of Henry Slade. I think it's a very good inside set or centre combination. And thinking that they still need to add, an Owen Farrell back into the side shows you how much depth England currently have. And if you look off the bench, Jamie George, Joe Marler, Will Stewart will cover the front row. Then you've got Nick Isekwe, Sam Simmers, Ben Youngs, George Ford, and Elliot Daly. So there's quite a lot of experience on the bench when you think that George Ford's got almost, 79 international caps. Ben Youngs is an international centurion. Elliot Daly's got a lot of experience. So, and even up front, the likes of Jamie George and Joe Marler, there's enough experience that you need if things aren't going badly to be able to come on and sort of just put things right and be able to sort of settle the game down. For the men from Wales, a couple of big changes, and there's a huge call. Again, a little bit like Manu Tuilagi's come straight back into the side. We are going to be seeing Talape FALETAU this weekend at 8th man, and I think that could be a very big selection, regardless of what you think about his form and where he's come in. On his day, FALETAU is one of, if not the best number 8 in the world. He's incredibly physical and a huge ball carrier, and I think he's exactly what Wales have missed at times. But if you're looking at their side, Wyn Jones, Ryan Elias, and Thomas Francis, a very good front row, and I think that the front row battle should be pretty even. I'll be very surprised if we see anybody getting a huge advantage on the other, because I think that they're pretty well matched. In the second row, Will Rowlands and Adam Beard. Adam Beard, he's still, I wouldn't say, he's not young in his career, but he's now starting to take that step up. You get those sort of, that stage where you go from just being a sort of, I wouldn't say a passenger, but, you're playing international matches, you're getting there, you take that next step where suddenly you're within the world's elite. And I would say Adam Beard is now moving into that sort of stage. He's just turned 26 years old. He's a British and Irish Lion Cat player. He's now the vice captain of Wales as well. So he's really becoming, really much taking over the mantle from Adam Wyn Jones and becoming that big figure within the pack. The loose trio, Ross Moriarty has shifted to allow the inclusion of FALETAU, and then you've got Tane Basham as well. I think it's a very nice loose trio. I think it's very hard-working, very physical. I think it's players who like to run into other people who want to have the ball at their hand. But the big thing is, I think, is can this Welsh backline back up what their pack has been giving them? Because I think the pack has been very good. But now can this backline, rise to the standard? Because it's been a big call with Louis Rees-Zammit actually being dropped from the squad and being sent back to Gloucester to get some game time and stuff like that. But Thomas Williams and Dan Biggar are the halfback combination. Dan Biggar has probably been big call for me, one of the best fly half in the competition so far. It only has been 2 matches, but taking on the captaincy, he looks a whole different player. And if he plays well, Wales play well, and even if Wales aren't playing well, he's often a player who can just try and lift them, and he does it he's very much a lead by example type of person. He'll carry a ball up if he has to. He'll go and make a big tackle if he has to. He'll go and make contributions which will lift others and make them, really believe that they're still in it. You've got Josh Adams, who returns onto the wing in place of Louis Rees-Zammit. Alex Cuthbert on the other wing, getting his 50 cap in a Welsh jersey. Owen Watkin and Nick Tompkins continue their centre pairing. And then you've got Liam Williams at full-back. Off the bench from the men from Wales, Dewey Lake, Gareth Thomas and Leon Brown are the front row replacements. You've then got Seb Davies. Jack Morgan gets just his second appearance in a Welsh jersey. Kieran Hardy, Gareth Anscombe, and then Jonathan Davies will complete the bench. It's a decent Welsh side, and I think that on their day, they definitely can be this English side. The question is, on form, can they get it right? Because they got it right against Scotland. Scotland was not a fluke win. I think, if you look at how they played, they did very well to nullify everything that Scotland is, everything that Scotland rely on. The question is, can they do that against England? Does Wayne Pivac have a plan? Because he's under a lot of pressure, after going down against Wales. A lot of people saying that, Welsh rugby's in the mud, that he needs to be sacked, etc. And then you respond like that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this weekend. Let me know what your score predictions are. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen. I'll chat to you soon.